And welcome, basketball fans. Welcome to Sapporo, Hokkaido, Japan for today's B.LEAGUE basketball matchup between LEVANGA Hokkaido and the MIKAWA SEAHORSES, in which is going to be number 1 in the East versus number 3 in the Western Conference. Well, a very exciting start for basketball here in Sapporo. They have indeed made their way to the top of the Eastern Conference. The question is, can they maintain this excellence as we draw to the end of the regular season and maybe contest for a B.LEAGUE championship? Well, joint best record along with Utsunomiya Brex and the Chiba Jets, while Mikawa Seahorses, there you can see, just sitting in the top 3. Now remember, the top 3 of each conference here in the B.LEAGUE automatically qualifies for the playoffs, while the final 2 positions will go to the wild cards. The 2 teams with the best record outside of the top 3. Well, we'll take a look at the last 2 games here for the likes of Mikawa. We'll start with LEVANGA Hokkaido. Very close games. They split with the Koshigaya Alphas, and the problem that, indeed, Hokkaido LEVANGA went up against was one Kai Soto. Well, Kai Soto had back-to-back double-doubles in those games, and disappointing thing, even though it went to overtime in the second matchup, Hokkaido LEVANGA just couldn't hang on for the victory. And there was the final play. Anthony Clements getting fouled by Dwight Ramos. Clements making both free throws and thus giving them, making the first one and deliberately missing the second one, which led to Koshigaya's victory. Well, they'll definitely fancy their chances in this game. They're at home. Their record at home has been unbelievable. But they've got to ensure that they finish every game strong here in the B.LEAGUE. Keisei Tominaga, of course, has been averaging 18.9 points per game and shooting 34.5% from the three-point line. Well, it's a very talented team. I mean, you've got the likes of Keisei Tominaga, not to mention Dwight Ramos, Jahil Okafor, as well as John Haran, Ray Shimatane. Well, Coach Ryan Richmond of Mikawa Seahorses, remember they lost in the B.LEAGUE playoffs last season to Utsunomiya Brex. When you look at this team, the likes of Thomas Kennedy, Jake Layman, because he was a former NBA player, did feature for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Yutaro Suda was their big signing last season after leaving the Goya Diamond Dolphins. And of course, that man there, Nishida, who featured for the Japanese national team, and not only the past FIBA World Cup qualifiers, but also in Okinawa back in 2023 at the FIBA Basketball World Cup. Well, the starting lineup this evening here for the Mikawa Seahorses, Satoshi Nagano will play as the primary point guard in the backcourt with Yudai Nishida. Yutaro Suda will be the shooter, while the 2 bigs will be both Jake Layman and Devontae Gardner. Well, there's your starting 5 for the Seahorses Mikawa. We'll take a look at their last game. Because 2 very big, emphatic victories for them. Well, they've been on fire so far this evening. And this season for them is a big one. Because not only will they be looking to go to the playoffs, well, they'll be looking to go a little bit further than just the quarterfinals. And it's a team that means business. Like I said, they've got a great coach. Very good players within the lineup. But can they stretch a little bit further? Become a B.LEAGUE title contender? That is going to be the key question. Well, there's the head-to-head in terms of stats between these 2 teams. And I think one thing that's going to come into fruition tonight, who is going to have a better night from the three-point line? Well, LEVANGA Hokkaido is slightly better in terms of the amount of points they score per game. But I would imagine a game like this could very well go right down to the wire. Well, welcome everybody. We're live here in Sapporo, the city on the island of Hokkaido. Let's enjoy the local entertainment as we introduce the key players and the starting lineups for LEVANGA Hokkaido.
Next, we are the team LEVANGA HOKKAIDO. Number 1, SEAHORSES. Number 6, Number 8, Kibayashi. Number 12, Ichiban Shuto. Number 14, Hoshino Kyosuke. Number 18, Naito Teruosuke. Number 34, RESONA Kaito. LEVANGA HOKKAIDO starting 5. Number 2, Dwight Levels. Number 15, Shimatani. Number 21, SEAHORSES. Number 22, Jalene Okafor. Number 30, Tominaga Kensei. LEVANGA HOKKAIDO head coach, Tose Leno. Go for victory. Go.
Well, the man who was once head coach of Alvak Tokyo as early as 2005, in the early years when pro basketball in Japan was starting to make his mark, Coach Turson Lobo understands tonight is a big game. They're up against a B.LEAGUE playoff rival in the MIKAWA SEAHORSES. It may only be February, but I can tell you one thing, expect both Hokkaido LEVANGA and as well as the SEAHORSES MIKAWA to make their way to the B.LEAGUE postseason. And who knows, this could very well be a championship contending matchup. Well, there you can look at the starting lineups. Yutaro Suda will have to match up with Dwight Ramos. Well, in the backcourt, it's going to be a very heavy duty indeed here for the likes of LEVANGA Hokkaido's. Well, Keisei Tominaga, no doubt there's going to be so much input on his offensive game here tonight. Getting him those good looks from the perimeter. He's averaging under 19 points per game. But again, welcome everybody. If you're watching this game live, please let us know in the comment bank where you're watching. And already, welcome to Marion Thomas, watching from Hong Kong, supporting St. Dwight, Papa Dwight Ramos. Well, the versatility of both Devontae Gardner and Jake Layman for the SEAHORSES. Coach Ryan Richmond once worked with the Washington Wizards in the NBA. Now finds himself here. Another fantastic season in the Japanese B.LEAGUE. Layman's going to jump this one with Jahil Okafor. Fasten your seatbelts, fans. This is going to be a very intense competitive matchup between two playoff rivals. It's going to be LEVANGA Hokkaido with the first possession. Expect a heavy, contested man-to-man defense coming from LEVANGA Hokkaido, as well as the SEAHORSES. Shimatani in the backcourt along with Tominaga pulls up in the mid-range. And that's 2 points, already good for Japan's national team player. He's probably one of the best in the B.LEAGUE, finding separation, creating his own shot under heavy pressure defense. Because John Haraz also got a tough matchup here against Jake Layman because, likewise, goes in with a Eurostep against rejected. But a foul is going to be given. Well, Layman's probably one of the best centers. And I say that as a 4-stretch 5 because, you know, this man can't put the ball on the floor, but also has a very lethal perimeter shot as well. Well, welcome to Yunan Lapadilla 551. Let's Go Dwight, as well as Emiliano Jr. Lacorte 7379, both supporting St. Papa Dwight Ramos. And welcome to Ritz Rels, watching from the Philippines with his wife. Well, Lehman only 1 for 2 from the free throw line. As now St. Papa Dwight penetrates. Goes in for a teardrop, and that's not going to go. Good defense by the Seahorses. MIKAWA just trying to get into a comfortable half-court set. Kasuda is also a very lethal three-point shooter. Go back 2 seasons ago when he played for Nagoya Diamond Dolphins. There's a kick out. 3-point in the corner, and that's good from downtown. Satoshi Nagano for the 3. The assist coming from Yutaro Suda. Well, there's a great take by Keisei Tominaga. So 2 free throws coming up for LEVANGA. Well, Fogo F War 5869 says, I hope the game will be close, supporting both teams. I like that. That's a great way to be impartial. Emiliano Jr. Lacorte 7379. Go Gilas players. Well, I got to give a shout out to my colleague at the B.LEAGUE, Kazuya Nishikawa, excuse me, because always providing great stats. And here were the stats that we had coming into this game. Now, the most recent one, Keisei Tominaga is 5th in scoring this season in the B.LEAGUE at just under 19. He's 18.9 points per game. While HOKKAIDO LEVANGA is 5th in offensive rebounding at 13.1 and 5th in three-point percentages at 34.8. Because 3 candidates for the Japanese national team at the upcoming FIBA World Cup qualifying window. Keisei Tominaga for LEVANGA, while MIKAWA Seahorses have both Yudai Nishida and Avi Schaffer. So a big thank you and arigato gozaimasu to my colleague Kazuya Nishikawa, always providing great insight for these B.LEAGUE games. Both teams locked in early here in the first 2 minutes. Well, Suda could have gone back door. He would have been wide open. Shimatani not giving any time or space here to Suda. But now Gardner wants to go right at Okafor and uses the brute strength as the big man just goes right inside the paints. Jahil Okafor has been a huge revelation for LEVANGA this season. As Tominaga turns it over. Lehman comes up with it. Well, again, a very poor pass. They're able to save this one. Trying to find Satoshi Nagano in transition, but now Nishida. Well, that's got to be an elbow to the face, surely. Another bump. Wow. Looks like the foul is going to be called against Keisei Tominaga as now he confronts the referee. I mean, I felt this one could have been a potential referee with the elbow. An offensive foul, but well, going back to the previous play, Fogo F War 5869 on the YouTube chat just said, oh my, he forced his way against Okafor and scored. And that's putting it lightly for sure. Devontae Gardner, such a tough player to defend in the paint. Well, another stat coming in from my colleague Kazuya Nishikawa from the B.LEAGUE. MIKAWA, 4th in the B.LEAGUE in free throw percentages, 78.6%. So another thank you to Kazuya Nishikawa. Second free throw made by Yudai Nishida. 2.5 played here in the first quarter. 3-point lead currently to the 3rd best team in the Eastern Conference. Or Western Conference, excuse me. As both of them are number 3. As Okafor just goes in the paint with the ISO. and expect more battles between both Devontae Gardner and Jahil Okafor. Well, Gardner bounces the ball off the defense. Levanga's defense don't want to open up any three-pointers as Suda goes in from the mid-range and he easily tucks that one away. I like to call him the sniper. Tominaga weighs up his options. Crash defense finds John Hara. Everyone's off balance. Okafor comes up with the offensive rebound. Seconds winding down. Lehman tries to keep him in front. The foul has been drawn, so 2 free throws coming up for Jahil Okafor. Well, a point I've just seen here on YouTube by AJ Fayala. Apologies if I have incorrectly pronounced your name, but it's crazy seeing Gardner, Devontae Gardner he's referring to from Mikawa Seahorses, be very competitive against NBA talents. Well, that's a good point you make there, but you've also got to take into consideration the fact that this is now the international game. Different rules. There's no illegal defensive 3 seconds. So, in that sense, Gardner's not going to find himself wide open, but where he is going to be effective with his, physical presence, he's going to be, good to back down inside the paint, which, he'll have one-on-one isolations, draw help side defenders, and with the three-point shooters that Mikawa has, defenses have always got to shift and rotate, which is going to free up a lot on the perimeter. Levanga Hokkaido putting on a bit of full-court press. Mikawa able to break this one down. Still leading by 2 points. Gardner forces his way in. Lehman comes up with the offensive board. Now it didn't touch the rim. Nishida's got to put up a deep one and buries that one from downtown. Well, we could see him do that in 2 weeks' time for the Japanese national team at the second window of the FIBA World Cup qualifiers. Tominaga goes back door. Suda gets called for the foul. Oh, look at this. Almost takes this one from the Hokkaido logo. It's very cold this time of the year in Sapporo. But Yunai Nishida looking to heat things up. Well, we already mentioned about the Japanese national team players on both teams here that we could see in 2 weeks' time. As we have many Filipino fans watching because of Dwight Ramos. This will be exciting for the Philippines. Gilas Pilipinas will be taking on both Australia and New Zealand at the upcoming window. And I want to know from the Philippine fans watching, what kind of... Well, the good thing is Kai Soto's back. That's huge. So next window is going to be very exciting, to say the least. 3-point lead here to Mikawa. This is a penetration by Suda. Little Euro step, but he misses from point-blank range. Well, he has to be able to tuck those away as now Hokkaido can level things up with a three-pointer. Okafor twisting. That time turning it over. Now Mikawa wants to push this one. Well, John Bull's got to be cold, and I think that is the defense coming from Dwight Ramos. Well, I need to see the replay of that one because Aaron White goes in the paint. Now watch Ramos here. Oh, great defensive work by Gilas Pilipinas as Dwight Ramos. .5:23 to go here in the first quarter. Mikawa just trying to hold on to a three-point cushion. Shimatani trying to get into the face of Satoshi Nagano. There's the curl, there's the take. And that's a BEA beautiful curl screen action by Yutaro Suda. Five-point lead to Mikawa as now Ramos will fire a three. Back iron can't connect with it. White comes up with it. Mikawa looking to extend the lead. Well, Gardner has a mismatch. Double team comes. Sloppy pass finding Yudai Nishida, but no problem for the three-point talisman. Fans who've made the long journey from Shizuoka all the way here to the island of Hokkaido. Very cold this time of year in Japan. Well, Okafor thinks about the three-pointer. Now goes to the mid-range. Drop defense there by Devontae Gardner, just inviting Okafor into the 2 points. But still a 6-point lead to Mikawa. Well, White draws another foul, and that one's going to be against Yu Kibayashi. And that's a bit of a mismatch, if you ask me, for the Seahorses. Well, welcome to Mark Lin 1859, watching from Taipei. 你好，我的朋友，很高兴认识你。我的中文不非常好。你的名字中文什么？ Is now Aaron White at the free throw line here for Mikawa. Well, Aaron White, of course, having quite a fruitful season so far here for the Mikawa Seahorses, averaging 7 points, along with 5 rebounds and almost 2 assists per game for the big fellow. So now he extends it to an 8-point lead. Mikawa still in a man-to-man matchup. So fadeaway shot on the baseline. Rod tried to come up with the offensive board, but in the end, turns it over. Not a great start for LEVANGA Hokkaido with 3:42 to go here in the first quarter. Now Mikawa can have the opportunity to extend it to a double-digit lead. Well, Avi Schaffer, who has featured for the Japanese national team previously in the past, is now subbed into the game. As well as Gohei Sakino, number 1 for LEVANGA Hokkaido, is coming into the matchup. Coach Thurston Lerble. Chris, what a massive turnaround it's been for LEVANGA. A team that could barely even dream of making the playoffs here in the B-League, and now could find themselves a potential championship contender this year. White with a mismatch. Goes in with the elbow. I think that's the second time in which an elbow's gone through a post up here for Mikawa, which has gone on cold. Watch here. That's an offensive foul, if you ask me. Well, Gohei Sakino took the full brunt of that play from Aaron White, but as mentioned, White can indeed give them the 10-point lead. Well, Mark Lin 1859, 谢谢兄弟，每天我学中文。我喜欢 B.LEAGUE， 他打篮球很好。Just over 3 minutes to go here in the first quarter. 10-point lead currently to the Seahorses. A playoff battle we could see in the postseason between these two teams. Hokkaido have another kick out. Another good look. Hurrah offensive rebound. No foul given. Oh, no, it is. So free throws now coming up here for John Hurrah. Well, second chance points could be a key factor in this game to see. Lorenzo Smith Torres Santin. Spanish. Well, you want me to speak Spanish? Do you speak Spanish? Well, you speak Spanish first, and I'll see if you do or not. Well, LEVANGA HOKKAIDO have gone to the free throw line 4 times so far this evening. They're 0 out of 2 from the three-point line. But already 3 offensive boards out of their total 5 rebounds. Wow, MIKAWA SEAHORSES have only missed 2 free throws, but they haven't missed any three-point attempt. But here's another offensive rebound as Hara goes in, cutting it down to 8. Well, they've got to find some way to click that offense going. If the threes don't drop, you must find other ways to score. 8-point lead currently here to MIKAWA. Gardner again forces his way in. Comes up with his own rebound. And it's way too easy for Devontae Gardner. Well, if it struggles in the case of one player boxing him out, you got to put 2 bodies on him. Well, Kibayashi will fire a 3. Still MIKAWA 3-pointless. Unable to save this. MIKAWA comes up with it, looking to extend. And that's the first missed 3-point attempt this evening. Now Hara looking to go in transition. And it's just disorganized basketball. But MIKAWA can capitalize. Foul given. No basket. That's on the ground. Well, that foul's going to be called against Hiroto Kikuchi. And you look at this lineup now here for LEVANGA HOKKAIDO. I mean, you've got Gohei Sakino, Ren Shimatani out there. Hiroto Kikuchi. And with John Hara as the natural center, you just have to ask the question, who is going to be the natural scorer? But a timeout is going to be called. These 2 teams will talk it over, and we'll be back in just under 1 minute. Welcome back, everybody. Live here in the city of Sapporo on the island of Hokkaido, Japan, as Yudai Nishida goes to the bench. He's hit 2 3-pointers already. Because there is Keisei Tominaga, leading scorer at the moment for LEVANGA HOKKAIDO. Well, I love the conversation we're having on the live YouTube chat as we're talking about pro basketball in Chinese Taipei. Beast Lin, 42 years of age, and you've probably seen him play in the East Asia Super League with Taipei Fubon Braves. Because Jeremy Lin now retiring as he last played for the Taipei New Kings. Bueno, que si Renzo Smith, Torres Santín habla español muy bien, pero ahora no puedo hablar español porque trabajo para Liga Japonesa de Baloncesto. 12-point lead currently to MIKAWA SEAHORSES. 2-3 zone action we're seeing now from MIKAWA. Hara gets this one to paint. Misses from 10 feet. Offensive rebound, no good for Dwight Ramos. Goes out of bounds. Well, Ramos trying to insinuate that took a touch off of Devontae Gardner. But MIKAWA is going to retain this. Well, it hasn't been a great start here for the 3rd place team here in the Eastern Conference. LEVANGA. Both Jahil Okafor, along with Dwight Ramos, have come back into the lineup. Well, maybe a missed traveling violation. Shaka goes off the bank. A little too strong, nothing connects. Can HOKKAIDO kind of kicking to stop their offense already. Kikuchi getting the handoff with Hara. But it's another unforced turnover. Well, they don't want this game to get too ahead of them. They've got to find some stability here in their offense. Lorenzo Smith Torres sent in. Muchas gracias. Estudia español por 10 años. Y tuve muchos compañeros en la escuela de España, de las Américas. Soy un... ¿Cómo se dice en español? Soy un fanático de baloncesto Argentina y también de baloncesto España. Potential 2-for-1 coming up here for MIKAWA Seahorses, leading by 12. Currently now Kubota gives this one up. Another three goes flying. John Hara, happy to see that one go out of bounds. So now we have 12.1 seconds difference between game and shot clock as Ryogo Sumino unable to connect the 3-pointer. Ferrara in the paint as that time rolls its way in. That time had no difficulty breaking down the zone. But HOKKAIDO now have to defend one final possession. MIKAWA going for the last shot at Devontae Gardner playing point center. Almost turning it over. Has to put this one up, and that's not going to go. Well, it may have been unconventional. And I think Ryan Richmond is asking the question, Devontae Gardner, why are you playing point center? Well, there you have it. End of the first quarter. 10-point lead to the team from the Western Conference here in the B-League. MIKAWA Seahorses against LEVANGA HOKKAIDO. We'll be back in under 2 minutes for the second quarter. Well, welcome back, everybody. If you look at the stats in the corner, those are points in the paint. But currently, HOKKAIDO LEVANGA only 6 points in the paint with only 4 second chance points. On the case of MIKAWA Seahorses, they have 8 points in the paint, 7 second chance points. And the difference between these two teams, HOKKAIDO LEVANGA 3-pointless at the moment, 0 for 3 from downtown. While not the case can be said here about MIKAWA, they're 3 out of 6. Welcome back. We're live here in the city of Sapporo on the island of HOKKAIDO. This is the B-League. LEVANGA currently up against the Seahorses. Okafor looking for an ISO. Pulls up from 15, back iron. Ramos trying to come in for the offensive board. But White able to cover this one up. Sumino doesn't want to take on Jahil Okafor in the paint. White, quick turnaround. And now make that 10 points inside the key here for the MIKAWA Seahorses. It's Tominaga able to draw the foul. Now once again, Ryogo Sumino. Well, Thomas Kennedy subbing into the game for the first time. Veteran player, vast wealth of experience here in the Japanese B-League. Well, Okafor's got a mismatch. They didn't go inside the paint to Jahil Okafor. Instead, they went for the tough pass to Dwight Ramos, who then unfortunately turns it over and inadvertently commits a foul. And if you're just joining this game for the first time and only watching LEVANGA HOKKAIDO for the first time, You wouldn't think that this team is number 3 here in the Eastern Conference. Well, a big thank you to Bad Ghoul 69. Very big thank you indeed, as well as to Emiliano Junior Lacourt 7379. Very kind words. — 12-point lead currently to MIKAWA. Kennedy pick and pop straight off the bench. 7 3-point attempt now for the Seahorses. Percentage now slowly going below 50%. This is good defense by MIKAWA. Ramos, another kick out. Seahorses just changing, switching, rotating, closing out effectively. And a nice cut down the middle. And the assist coming from Jahil Okafor. Well, a quick transition should have been laid up by Avi Schaffer. Now LEVANGA look to cut it down to single digits. Okafor, another kick out. Ramos, wide open, 3. Well, that's a good look for Dwight Ramos. He's got to keep taking those. As Okafor, too big, too strong, and simply just unguardable. Potential 3-point play coming up for the former first-round NBA draft pick. Well, the wide open look for Ramos in the end turns into second chance and 1 point here for Jahil Okafor. Well, a timeout has been called again. Fans, we will be back in just under 1 minute. Well, Jahil Okafor so far in this game, 7 points, 4 rebounds. 2 of them have been offensive. As now he overtakes Keisei Tominaga as the leading scorer for LEVANGA HOKKAIDO. Because so far in this game, we've had a total of 18 free throws. LEVANGA HOKKAIDO currently 5 out of 8 from the charity stripe. Cutting it down to a 7-point deficit. Still LEVANGA HOKKAIDO putting on that full court pressure. Staying in a man-to-man matchup by the low. No, it looks like it's in the zone. They're in a high 3-2 zone. There's a quick 3 in the corner. That one's up, and it's back to a 10-point ball game. Ryogo Sumino, quick catch and shoot. That's the 4th 3-point field goal of the game for MIKAWA. That's going to be a foul against Ryogo Sumino. Well, there's denial defense, and then there's bear hugging your opponent. And that's what Ryogo Sumino got called for. And you can see 2 arms holding on to Keisei Tominaga. Well, Tominaga is wide open. Okafor now gets caught in a double team. Tominaga, tough step back. Are you kidding me? As they would say in the Philippines, hayop, panis, and uwi na. How did he make that one? That's the first 3-pointer of the game for LEVANGA. No one to kick out to. Tominaga steals it. LEVANGA's got numbers. Oh, again, went himself, dished it off. Tough finish. And a 5-0 run currently for LEVANGA HOKKAIDO. Kyosuke Hoshino. The assist from Keisei Tominaga. Tominaga with 9 points now. Leading scorer here for LEVANGA. HOKKAIDO now switching back into a man-to-man defense. As a foul is going to be called away from the ball, but that's only going to be the second team foul against HOKKAIDO here in the second. It's on Hoshino. Looks like he's going to go back to the bench. So re-entering the play, Rei Shimatane along with John Hara. So a slightly bigger lineup here for LEVANGA. Jake Lehman also back in the game for Mikawa. Bit of Spanish pick-and-roll action. Lehman now looks to attack. Kicks out. There's a baseline penetration. What a rejection by Ramos. Finds Lehman. Another big offensive board. Still no good. And that's Ramos with 2 big blocks, but they turn it over. And Ramos forced the turnover. Well, what defense by Gilos Filipinas' Dwight Ramos. Save Dwight. Papa Dwight. Now Ramos penetrates. Goes in. Reverse layup. And Dwight Ramos on both ends of the floor for HOKKAIDO LEVANGA. Well, now in his 3rd season with LEVANGA HOKKAIDO, Dwight Ramos. One possession ball game. Time winding down. Kennedy has to force another 3 and the rebound. Calmly collected by Keisei Tominaga. As now we reach over 4 minutes played here. Hara, quick catch. And it's going to be another trip to the free throw line here for LEVANGA. And Jahil Okafor likes what he sees from his teammates. Well, just looking at the live YouTube comment bank here on this B-League International matchup, it's Brittany Mitch. Impressive work so far from the Seahorses. I'd agree with you. It'll take some teamwork to bring this one back. Emiliano Junior Lacorte, 7'3", 7'9". No luck for Ramos to shoot the ball. And you're absolutely right. I mean, he's had some good looks. He hasn't been able to convert them, but as we've seen, Ramos very effective on both ends of the floor so far here for LEVANGA. John Hara makes the first free throw. Looking to cut it down to a 1-point deficit. Second free throw good as well. That 12-point lead has been cut down to 1. Nishida got it by Shimatane. Goes to the back down. Has to kick out to Jake Lehman. 5 seconds left. Kennedy's now got to make a choice. Whoa, gets stripped. Good defense by Kibayashi. And now Hara goes between the legs, goes in, and he misses. Offensive rebound. So that would have given LEVANGA the lead. As Tominaga turns it over. Now here comes the Seahorses quickly converting into fast break points. Laren White doing a great job of running in transition. Tominaga up against Nishida, and a blocking foul is going to be given. I think the foul was going to be called against Nishida, but looks like indeed it was actually Satoshi Nagano defending him. Well, the referee that you see there, 7, is a very good friend of mine and a colleague, as he is a FIBA international referee, Takaki Kato, because he is one of the best international referees in the world. He's officiated FIBA Basketball World Cups and also officiated and refereed at the Basketball Olympics. So I'm going to give him a message at the end of the game to find out where some of these fouls have been called. I mean, do not question his judgment. He is one of the best international referees in the world. Well, timeout called. We'll be back in just under 1 minute. Well, cutting it down to a 2-point ball game is now run to halfway to go here in the second quarter. Plus, MIKAWA have never relinquished the lead, having led by as many as 12 points. Well, Thomas Kennedy was wide open on the baseline. White doesn't get the ball to him. There's a penetration, a nice little finish by Satoshi Nagano. Well, he's got that quick first step. That makes him very tough to defend. Shimatani wide open. Doesn't go for the three-pointer. Ramos thinks about it. Now takes it. Finally gets it. Well, that's his third attempt from the three-point line. He's able to finally convert one. So now it's back to a 1-point deficit. Second three-pointer of the game for LEVANGA Hokkaido. Well, MIKAWA have converted 4 three-pointers. A very soft touch there by Aaron White. Because now LEVANGA can take the lead. Ramos, 3, transition, boom! Save Papa Dwight from downtown. Back-to-back triples. Well, he's already exhibited some great defense in this game, Dwight Ramos. Now as he kick-started his three-point rhythm. First time in this game in which LEVANGA have led. Nishida just plays bully basketball. Well, the defense against Rei Shimatani is going to need some help against Yudai Nishida. Now Tominaga. A little bit of separation, and that's automatic. That's simply unguardable. Look at the transitions. Lehman goes in. And that's the second time this evening in which LEVANGA, after scoring, have been simply beat in transition by MIKAWA Seahorses. Nothing separates these two teams. Locked in at 38. Ramos. Got it by Lehman. Goes in for the tough layup. That's not going to go. The foul is going to be called. It looks like Kaito's going to leave the game. Not quite sure if he's hurt or just subbing out, but well, it's actually Naito, excuse me. It's Devontae Gardner comes back into the lineup here for MIKAWA. Gohei Sakino, and there's Yutaro Suda. Of course, made the opening three-pointer of the game for Ryan Richmond's team. So 2:55 to go here in the second quarter. If you're watching this game live on B.LEAGUE International, let us know in the live YouTube comment banks. Who do you think will win this game? Remember, both teams sitting in positions 3 in both the West and Eastern Conference. Well, I've just been asked about Dwight Ramos' stats. Ramos currently 8 points, second joint leading scorer, along with Jahil Okafor, along with 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 blocks for Dwight Ramos. Defense goes under the screen, and Lehman makes them pay. So in Lehman's terms, that's 3 points. 5th three-pointer of the game for MIKAWA. Shimatani, little teardrop. Lehman comes up with a rebound. It looks like there's an injury on the floor here for MIKAWA. Well, it's Yudai Nishida. I'm assuming he's probably taken an unwanted shot to a very restricted area. Let's have a look here. Or maybe, ouch. Looks like it's a groin injury off the contact there with John Hara, which is completely unavoidable. Because a hell of a player, Yudai Nishida, was instrumental, monumental in Japan's 2 victories against Chinese Taipei at the last FIBA World Cup qualifying window. Because they played the second game in Taipei at the Xinjiang Gymnasium. Had some big three-pointers in that game. Gardner off the bench. Just need to let the blood get warmer. MIKAWA looking to defend a 3-point lead. As Okafor. It's a great matchup to see. Still has it in his hands. Finds Shimatani. He'll fire a 3. And it's way off the mark. The offense a little too static here as Lehman made his last 3. Makes another one. 6 triples already for Mikawa. Lehman's terms puts them up by 6. And a timeout called by Coach Lobo as he wants to talk it over with his players. Jake Lehman catching fire. Well, Jake Lehman's second three-pointer of the game. He has 9 points already, and now he is actually the second leading scorer this season for Mikawa Seahorses at 13 points per game. As Dwight Ramos, who's also with 8 points and had a good game so far. But both these two teams, mid-30% percentages this season from the three-point line. Because LEVANGA Hokkaido trying to fight their way back in this one now. Kaisho Morizumi is subbed into the game. Herrera in the paint. Can't finish, gets his own rebound. And he's fouled in the process, so that should be 2 free throws coming up. As Mikawa have put them into the penalty. Well, Jake Lehman can't quite believe the foul. So Rod just gets the first free throw to go. Because Mikawa Seahorses haven't taken a free throw here in the second quarter. Well, that's now 10 made free throws here for Hokkaido, now 10 out of 14. John Herrera, so far 7 points, 3 points and 2 rebounds away from. We'll make it 2 and 2. He's 8 and 8 in terms of points and rebounds. Well, Lehman, the leading scorer for Mikawa, subbing out for the final 124. Mikawa lead by 2 possessions. Trying to hang on. Go into that halftime break with an advantage. For them, it would be a monumental win here if they can come up with the victory. Especially on the road on the island of Hokkaido. Gardner goes in. Good defense. Herrera came over for the switch. Now they can cut it down to 1 possession. Maybe a 1-point lead. Well, Devontae Gardner is a strong man. So anytime he tries to... I mean, look at this. Well, that time it was a clear bump, so it wasn't a case of just bulldozing his way through the paint. I like that. I think he acknowledges the foul, but you gotta love Devontae Gardner. What a season he's having. Leading scorer this year for Mikawa. As mentioned, 17 points per game. Well, John Herrera now 1 point, 2 rebounds away from a double-double already here in the first half. It's now 12 made free throws for Hokkaido LEVANGA here in the first. Well, welcome to It's Canuck 1, watching from Vancouver, BC. Our good friends from Canada tuning in for this game. Well, timeout called by Coach Richmond. It's the former NBA assistant coach of the Washington Wizards. Has seen his team lead by 12. We'll be back in just under 1 minute. Final minute to go here in the second quarter. It's the persistent full court pressure coming to zone press. Now, do they sit back in a man-to-man or a zone defense? Looks like another high 3-2 zone with 3 at the top. Suda nowhere to go. Now Nishida will fire a 3. Offensive rebound by White. Suda now looks to attack here against John Hara. Finds Nagano. And Nagano comfortably and sneakily creeps his way as it still comes in. But they're able to keep this one alive. Good reaction by Shuto Ichiba. Final shot maybe coming up here for LEVANGA HOKKAIDO. 2-possession deficit. Just trying to build something good here, but they'll go to Keisei Tominaga. Final seconds of Tominaga. Has to put up a tough 3. It's way too short. Well, Okafor doesn't get it off in time, and there you have it. End of the first half. The two teams sitting in third place of both the Eastern and Western Conference of the B-League, but it is indeed MIKAWA SEAHORSES who lead by 4. Well, we'll take a halftime break of 20 minutes, so fans, go get a drink, go get something to eat, but don't go anywhere too long. We'll be back for the second half. This is B-League Basketball. We're live on the island of Hokkaido in the city of Sapporo.
B リーグ2025-26シーズン公式テーマソンググリーンボーイズの雄たけびフィーチャリングアンティーム SNS などで B リーグのチームが雄たけびチャレンジに参加しています。もちろんパシスタスピリッツも参加しています。サビの部分皆さんも一緒に踊ってください。どうぞ。チャレンジパフォーマンスでした。ではここでゲストの登場です。レバンガ北海道織森社長、そして HBC 北海道放送森優香アナウンサーです。お願いします。
よろしくお願いします。皆さんこんにちは。こんにちは。HBC 北海道放送アナウンサーの森優香と申します。織森さん。はい。ここまで前半ちょっと最初の方悔しい展開ありましたね。
まあでも、しっかりついていけてるんで、まあ後半勝負なんで、はい、良かったと思いますよ。
はい、ここからですね。はい、じゃあバッチリ応援していきましょう。はい。 さあ、なんで私が今ここにいるかなんですけれども、私 HBC テレビで土曜午後5時から放送しているアグリ王国北海道ネクストという番組を担当しております。でその番組、道内各地を巡って北海道の農畜産物の魅力をお伝えしている番組なんですけど、見たことあるよっていう方いらっしゃいますか？拍手もしていただいてありがとうございます。ありがとうございます。ただアグリ王国というとチームラックスの森崎博之リーダー、リーダー実は今日残念ながら仕事で来ることができなかったんですよね。なのでちょっとこんなメッセージ届いています。こちらご覧ください。
北エンにお集まりの皆さん、こんにちは。皆さん、アグリ王国見てくれてますか？いや、ありがとうございます。なんとですね、今日も午後5時から HBC で放送があるんですけど、今日のアグリ王国スペシャルなんです。だってそこにいるオリーボ社長がゲストで登場してくれてるんです。
次回のアグリ王国ネクストはオリジナル餃子開発第2弾。日本バスケットボール界のレジェンド、レバンガ北海道のオリボ社長とワッサムの越冬キャベツを徹底取材。
今日のレバンガの試合を、
はい、オリボさん、
はい。
アグリ王国出てくださるんですね。
いや、出ますよ。はい。今日、ありがとうございます。
今日の放送です。
はい。
オリボさんは雪の下で眠るキャベツの取材に行っていただきましたけれども、いかがでしたか？
いや、大変すぎますよ。はい。めちゃくちゃ大変な番組ですよ、あれは。
はい。結構混乱されてましたよね。
いや、初めはそうですよ。
うん
だってね、スタッフの方もいないし、
はい
森崎さんもいないし、森さんもいない中、連れてかれて、
はい。
罰ゲームみたいな感じじゃないですか。雪しかなかったんですから。はい。
そうなんですよね。
はい
アグリ王国って台本もお渡ししないし、何をやるかっていうことも全くお伝えしない状況で、しかも雪の中でキャベツが眠ってるから、もう大雪原に連れて行かれたんですもね。
そうんなんですよ。あそこに野菜が埋まってるなんていうことすら想像しなかったですから。だからね、ドッキリ
はい
って思って、
そう
はい。びっくりしました、本当
で
に。
混乱している様子も見ていただけますし、
はい
皆さんオリモさんのちょっとね、文句も結構ね、放送の中では入ってますもん
い
ね。
やいや、あれは文句しか出ないですよ。だって森崎さんも森さんも何にもやんないじゃないですか。喋ってるだけで。
ちょっと何のことだか、
はい
でもどういうことなのかっていうのは、
はい
ぜひ番組をご覧ください。
はい
今日の土曜午後5時です。アグリ王国どうぞよろしくお願いします。
お願いします。見てください、今日。
ありがとうございます。
はい、ありがとうございます。
B リーグ2025-26シーズン J リーグ北海道プレゼンツレバンガ北海道対シーホース三河にご来場いただき誠にありがとうございます。ここで B リーグパートナーをご紹介いたします。リソナグループ B リーグ2025-26シーズン
Welcome back, everybody. Of course, B.LEAGUE matchup between LEVANGA HOKKAIDO and SEAHORSES MIKAWA. Currently, it's a 4-point lead to the SEAHORSES. These two teams, top three, third place, both of them in the East and Western conferences of the Japanese B.LEAGUE. Well, the only difference you want to look at these two teams indeed has been the three-point shooting, in which MIKAWA currently 6 out of 14 from downtown, while 33% exhibited by LEVANGA HOKKAIDO. They've converted 3 out of 9. But LEVANGA have since taken more free throws, specifically in that second quarter. They also are out-rebounding SEAHORSES 21-17 with 9 offensive boards, but so far it's been the points in the paint in which MIKAWA SEAHORSES have definitely had their dominance in this game. I think there's one thing to clarify in this matchup, of course, is that, you know, the three-point shooting, as good as it's been from MIKAWA, hasn't always been consistent. The last 2 3-pointers, of course, made by Jake Lehman, who left the game with 9 points before going to the bench for a little breather. But, as we mentioned, 20 points inside the paint from MIKAWA to 14 in the case of LEVANGA HOKKAIDO. Only 8 second chance points and 4 points of turnovers. Well, the depth of the two teams has been shown today. MIKAWA currently 13 points coming from their bench. The question is, can they hang on for a big victory here on the road in Sapporo? Well, you see the foul trouble. Just got to make sure that they don't get too many plays into a situation where they've got to make some changes quite quickly. I mean, it's Jake Lehman who does have 3 fouls. That's why he had to go to the bench. While no player for LEVANGA HOKKAIDO has 2. Welcome back, everybody. Second half underway. MIKAWA with the first possession. Satoshi Nagano here in the backcourt. Running ball screens with Devontae Gardner. There's a kick out. Now White fires a 3. Well, that was wide open, uncontested. You got to make those ones. Tominaga pulls up for a quick one and takes a deflection, so it's going out of bounds. HOKKAIDO will retain this one, but sometimes I feel that's just too quick of a shot for Keisei Tominaga. Of course, a lot of buzz. And I'd say there, John Hara could have been called for a moving pick, but well, Tominaga again. Well, those are 2 looks at him. The second one's slightly better, though, than the first one. Well, there's another turnover. Good hands by Shimatani, comes up with it. Nobody running with him. Goes himself, but good defense by Yudai Nishida. As our referee Takaki Kato points out, possession will remain to LEVANGA HOKKAIDO, but good denial defense by Shimatani. But that case there, nobody. No options for him to try to give off to. So 14 seconds here on the shot clock for LEVANGA HOKKAIDO. Not even a minute played here in the second half. Neither team haven't scored yet here in this second half play. Corral curls. Jump hook may have just turned down the temperature. A little cold here with the air ball. Can either of these two teams find their first bucket here in the second half? Nishida, quick handoff. Tries to hesitate, little teardrop. That's not going to go either. Well, scoreless yet again here in the third. But can LEVANGA find the first bucket? Gardner's trying to match up here with Jahil Okafor, who finds Ramos on the handoff. And that goes out of bounds. Feel like neither team's been able to build rhythm here in the second half, but at some point, somebody's going to gain that confidence very quickly. And as Ramos goes off the bank, and it rolls its way in. Well, there you have it. First point scored in the second half for either team, and it's from Dwight Ramos. Now moves up to 10 points, cutting it down to a 2-point deficit. So foul is going to be called here against LEVANGA HOKKAIDO. Well, there's another look at that play right there. So the echoes of the cows. Because if you're wondering why they move so much here during free throws, it's because Sapporo, city here on the island of Hokkaido, infamously known on this island for its agriculture and production of dairy products. Satoshi Nagano can extend it back to a 4-point lead. He's unable to hit the second free throw. Ramos coming up with the rebound. Ramos has made 2 threes. Not going to get this one. Well, that's a good look for St. Papa Dwight. Is now Nagano trying to go quickly. Draws the foul and almost cut down one. I don't think he intended to shoot that one. I think it may have slipped out of his hands, maybe. Let's have a look at the three-pointer by Ramos. Now watch Nagano. Comes up with the rebound. And that's unacceptable transition defense. So right back where we were on the previous play. Satoshi Nagano at the free throw line. Can extend it to a 5-point lead if he converts this one. Five-point lead currently here to Mikawa Seahorses. First of a doubleheader this weekend against LEVANGA HOKKAIDO. Ramos penetrates. Top pass kick out to Jahil Okafor. Well, they sagged it off. He'll try a 3. It's not going to go. Aaron White coming up with the rebound. The blistering speed of Nagano finds a good look there for Suda, but just hasn't been able to find the rhythm. Well, Ramos, nice pass, finds Okafor. And what a dime from St. Papa Dwight. Finding Jahil Okafor, cuts it down to 3. Now Yudai Nishida just goes to his left, and again, how do you defend him? He's just unguardable. You know he's going left. It's still unstoppable play by Yudai Nishida. Shimatani had the 3-point look, but he was closed out on defense. Hara throws into the VIP section. That's not good basketball from LEVANGA HOKKAIDO. Well, 3 Hokkaido players in double figures. John Hara, Dwight Ramos, Keisei Tominaga, and Jahil Okafor. Not John Hara, I believe. Actually 4, so all 4 players I assumed actually were in double figures, so I was correct. Yet down by 5 against Seahorses Mikawa. Only Yudai Nishida and Satoshi Nagano in double figures. That's a worrying sign here for Dwight Ramos. He's on the ground. Got in a post move. He's fouled. That is not a good sign for both Dwight, all 3. Ramos, LEVANGA, and Gilas Pilipinas.
Number 1, Sekino Kohei.
Watch Ramos here. That looks painful. I'm trying to figure out if it was a rolled ankle. I think it's a rolled ankle. So Gardner at the free throw line. Well, we'll try to keep you updated on Dwight Ramos' situation. 7-point lead here to Mikawa. Mid-range pull-up, nothing but net. Smooth, cool as you like. And it's from the former Koshigai Alphas player, Shuto Ichiba. His former teammate with